Oh, wrong book.
All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. I don't want to describe today as a beautiful day, but it was my kind of day. I really liked it was kind of drizzly and cloudy, but it's Shabbat. But yeah, I have to go on record. Today is my brother's birthday. He made it to 51. Not that I helped him try not to make it to 51, but it's my brother's birthday. He's 51 today. And what that means for me is I can no longer say that I'm 51 because I'm his older brother. So even I know that math. But happy birthday to my little brother. Still want the pony, but that's another story. We are here. We have Nancy back from Florida-ish,
Yes.
and all parts in between. And she's going to bench lift for us tonight.
Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who beholds us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hakavnei shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign in the universe, who houses us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, page 9. Let's continue welcoming Shabbat. Page 9, let's have a responsive reading in English. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. So embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We continue with Lecha Dodi, page 20. Page 20. Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Shamho v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmi'ahanu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litila, Lecha Dodi ligrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, Ligrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Hi mekor ha'bracha, merosh mikedem nehesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, lecha dodi ligrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, mikdash melech yirmelucha, kumitzi'i mitoch hafecha, rav lahak shevet V'yem hechabacha, v'hu yachamol alai chemla, lecha dodi ligrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, hitna ari me'afar kumi, livshi bigdei tifartei chami, al yad ben ishai beit halachmi, korva el nafshi ge'ala, Lecha dodi ligrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, hitorari, ki va'orek kumi ori, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nidla, lecha dodi ligrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, lo tevoshi v'lo tikolmi, Mahatish tochachi matehemi, bachyechesu aniyehe ami, v'nihiv netahir al tila, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabila, ayu l'shimsa shohosayich, v'rahachaku kol mevalayich, Yasis alayich Elohayich, ki himsos chatan ha'kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabila, yamin usmol tifrotzi, v'et Adonai taharitzi, al yagish ben partzi, V'nihi smecha v'nagila, lecha dodi likrat hala, pnei Shabbat nekabila, boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'sola, tochem unei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat hala, pnei Shabbat nekabila. Let's turn the page. Psalm 92, some verses from the Psalm for Shabbat. Let's read together the outdented lines in English. A psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai. How very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzadikatah Ke'erez balvanot yihiske shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yahafrichu o jinuvun beseva V'shenim v'ra'ananim yihiyu lehagid ki ashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlatabo. And we'll turn one more page to 24. We'll welcome the angels who come to visit with us on Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Teitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Well, we have properly welcomed Shabbat into our midst. We're going to jump ahead to page 146, the evening service, the Arvit service for Shabbat, page 146, Baruch Hu. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Page 147. Let's read together in English in the middle of the page. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish. But your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you, and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Arabim. 148. Avat olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shachpeinu uvkumeinu, Nasiach bechukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'v'mitzvotecha, Le'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu v'yorech yameinu, v'yorech yameinu, uvahem nehege yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatecha tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta ha'et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha, v'hayu advarim ha'ele. Asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uvkumecha uvshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha Uchtavtam, Omzizahut Beitecha, Uvisharecha, Leman Tizkeruhu, Ba'asitem et Kol Mitzvotai, Vitem Kedoshim, Lelohechem, Ahani, Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hotzeiti Etchem, Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Liot lachem lelohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 151, in the middle, let's read responsively. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet they among us lives our gas, imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there's a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
It is evil enough to break the heart, and good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
We grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learn God's presence for each time and event, so we celebrate the power that makes for freedom.
Top of 152. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nohora tehilot, osef ele, malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe, zeli anu v'yamru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. ונאמר כי יפד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Page 153, the bracha after the Shema, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Let's read together in the English. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Top of page 154, verses from the book of Exodus. Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We are at the central prayer of the evening service, the Amidah. Pages 155, 156, and 157 we'll chant together, and then we'll go silently, and you can finish the prayer either in the Hebrew, in the English, or offer up your own prayer at that time. We'll begin together, page 155. Adonai sifatai tiftach, rufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach, rufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Ha'gibor, Ha'nora, El Elyon, Romel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chastei HaPokaim Ha'od, U'mevir El Livnei B'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Ba'ahava.
melech ozer Moshiach Magid. Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham, V'Yezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Li'olam Adonai, Mechayim Eitim Atarab Lehoshia. Mashiv HaRuach, U'Morid HaGashem. Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayim Eitim Berachamim Rabim. Sohomech Noflim Verofeh Choholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Givorom, Umi Domelach, Melech Meimit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata l'chayot meitim, Baruch ata Adonai, Echayei ha'meitim.
So completing your Amidah, please continue at your own pace. We're on page 160 in the middle, and let's read together in the English. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 163, a little bit of Hoda'ah, a little bit of Thanksgiving. Lots to be grateful for this week. And of course, alles Gute zum Geburtstag for my brother, 51 years old today. And I am so proud that he is my brother. So happy birthday and a good year. So let's read responsibly at the top of 163. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to do the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise.
For the desire in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life, which is our only beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, praise the source of being.
We'll close out the Amidah, as always, with a prayer for peace in the evening. It's Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon, Lechol HaShalom. Ki atahu melech Adon, Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam.
Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael B'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rahav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam. Praise are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Middle of page 253, we'll continue with Misha Berach. If there's anyone who you know who needs a little bit of extra healing, keep them in your thoughts and close to your hearts as we prepare middle page 253 for Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avoteinu Mikor habracha le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We're going to jump ahead to 258 and 259, prayers of our community. And Hoyt, how about the prayer for our congregation?
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us. Love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Maury, how about the prayer for our country?
Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cord of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness.
Amen. Amen.
Shalom Shalom Yerushalayim, Yishlayu Havayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzur Yisrael V'Golo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael. Reishit Smicha Geulatenu. Hagen Aleha B'Yavrat Chasdecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Uracha V'Amitecha L'Rasheha Sareha V'Yoetzeha, V'Takneim Be'etza Tova Milfanecha, V'Natata Shalom Ba'aretz, V'Simchat Olam Liyoshveha, V'Nomar Amen. Dennis, how about the English?
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it's beneath the wings of your love and spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
We are starting a brand new book of the Torah this week, Sefer Vayikra. It's the middle of the Torah, and it's a bit of an anomaly from the point of view of the Torah. It's not like the other books. There's no real narrative, right? There's no story. It's not a continuation of where we left off in the book of Exodus. We're going to pick that up again in the book of Bamidbar, in the book of Numbers. But it's just a handbook of sorts for the priests and the priestly class. But for the rest of us, we get a description of what are called the korbanot. And the korbanot are the sacrifices, the different types of sacrifices that would be offered in the Mikdash and then ultimately in the temple in Jerusalem. And the word korbanot comes from the root karov, which means to draw near or to draw close. And so this is our way of drawing close to God, at least for our biblical ancestors. The key ideas in the book, holiness and ritual purity, right? How to be holy. There is a commandment in there. The Lord God says, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. But we never get a real description of what that holiness entails. We do have, though, in the middle of the book, the holiness code. And what it means, God says, you shall be different. You as a people, you as my people shall be set apart. You're not going to be like everyone else. And that is something that, rabbis have always focused on, this idea of that it's okay to be different. That wherever we live, whether it's in America, Germany, Switzerland, England, it's okay to be Jewish. You don't have to try to blend in. In fact, we're never very successful when we try to blend in. But we don't have to live in Shtetlach either, right? We can be distinct. We can be different. The book of Vayikra is also known as Torat Kohanim, the teaching or the laws of the priests. And this is traditionally, believe it or not, the first book of the Torah that is taught to children. They don't start in Bereshit, they don't start in Exodus, because this book is pretty straightforward. If you're going to teach the little kids how to read Hebrew, if you're going to teach them how to work within the Hebrew language, you don't want them getting caught on, well, in the beginning, God created the world, but who created God? Does God get lonely? Was it real 7 days? But why does the Torah mention dinosaurs? Right. So if you start in the book of Vayikra, where it's, these are the sacrifices. This is what you do for this one. This is what you do for that one. Not a lot of conversation that's going to pull away from the lesson plan. And so in this week's Torah portion, we get 5 different types of sacrifices. We get what's called the olah, right? That's the burnt offering. That's the one that gets burnt completely on the altar. And that was either a sheep, a goat, or a bull, and it could not have a blemish on it. Or if you couldn't afford that, a turtle dove or a pigeon. The mincha sacrifice was next, and that's the only one that doesn't have meat involved. It was choice flour or oil, and that's where we get the afternoon service from, the idea that mincha is the afternoon service. This was when that particular sacrifice took place, or offering took place. The zevach, or the zevach shlamim, was that of well-being, right? Something good happened to you, right? Life is good. You hit the lottery, your best friend got married, somebody had a baby. So you took something out of your herd or your flock, again, without a blemish. The chatat sin, the chatat offering, the sin offering, that was when you unintentionally failed to fulfill God's commands. You forgot to do something, right? But not on purpose. There's a whole other bunch of sacrifices for when you say, it's not important, I'm not going to do that. This is for when you unintentionally do something. And then the final one for this week is the asham. and that's the guilt offering. And that's when you're actually guilty of doing something. You offer a sheep, and if you can't afford it, a turtle dove and 2 pigeons. And this is the beginning of what we call in the academic realm the sacrificial cult. Right? This is the stuff that our ancestors did before the temple was before the temple was built, and then after the temple was built as well. These are sacrifices. The Kohen was in charge, the Kohanim, the Kohen Gadol, the high priest was in charge, and this continued until the second temple was destroyed and breaking the sacrificial cult. And that's where we get the Judaism that we know today, which is rabbinic Judaism and not sacrificial Judaism. There are 16 mitzvot in this particular parsha, 11 do's and 5 don't. And so that's your Torah portion in a nutshell. Where to begin? One day, I'm going to wake up and I won't have to hear or read anti-Jewish comments or statements that have been made by our politicians. All right. Notice I'm not saying anti-Semitic. No more. It's anti-Jewish. Words like globalist, right? When you hear globalist, and you have to stop to think, well, what exactly is a globalist? Look in the mirror, because they mean us. They're not playing around. The globalists are out to destroy the country. That is the Jews. The other thing I want to stop hearing about is George Soros. Right? George Soros is a Jewish man. He's a Hungarian immigrant and a survivor of the Holocaust. And he happens to be very wealthy. And one of the ways that he shows how his Judaism is important to him is he gives money to causes that he thinks are important. Now, he also happens to be a Democrat. All right. And so whenever you hear somebody saying, oh, George Soros based X or George Soros money, yes, it's George Soros, but they mean us, the Jews. And it's getting old and I'm getting tired. And I put up with it when it's coming from non-Jewish politicians. I put up with it. I write them sometimes less than pleasant notes or tweets or something, just saying, you know what, just call us dirty Jews instead of saying globalists or George Soros based money or whatever. He is this long standing punching bag for the Republican Party. Now, what they failed to realize is that, yes, oh, George Soros, bad, 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 but they have their own versions of George Soros. They have Jews, Bronfman, I believe it was. Is Bronfman a Republican donor? That's Bronfman. Who's the guy with the big casinos and stuff?
Yeah, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Nadelson or something like that?
Oh, Sheldon Adelson. Thank you. Bronfman, no, wrong. No. Sheldon Adelson, right? He's got as deep a pocket as Soros. But you never hear the Republicans saying, oh, and you don't hear the Democrats saying Adelson-based money. Like I said, I put up with it when it's coming from the non-Jews, like Louis Gohmert, who says George Soros is supposed to be Jewish, but you wouldn't know it from the damage he inflicted on Israel. Now, I think it's really chutzpahdik for somebody like Louis Gohmert to question another person's Jewishness. He's supposed to be Jewish, meaning he really isn't, because he's inflicted damage on Israel. I'm not quite sure what that means. Worse damage than the Republican Party has inflicted on Israel? I don't know. My favorite, Marjorie Taylor Greene. No other person has undermined our democracy more than George Soros. Why is he still allowed to maintain his citizenship? I'm not making these up. Rudy Giuliani, that bastion of Yiddishkeit, Soros is hardly a Jew. I'm more of a Jew than Soros is. Could you imagine if I got up and I said, I don't know, I'm more of a Catholic than DeSantis is? Right? People would be screaming, oh, how dare you make a mockery of that man's religion. And yet, Rudy Giuliani, who himself is not Jewish, he's Roman Catholic, but he considers himself more Jewish than an actual born Jew who was a Holocaust survivor. And DeSantis, of course, says that Alvin Bragg, the prosecutor in New York, is Soros funded. Right? Again, is this just politics? I mean, I don't remember when I was an undergraduate these kind of statements being made about Jewish politicians. I'm sure they were, but I mean, nothing was as common or as overriding as it is now. Why do we have to question his Judaism? What's the point of that? I'll tell you what the point of it is. They question his Judaism because he supports the Democrats. And if you support the Democrats, you can't be a real Jew. And so all the Democrats who are Jews aren't real Jews. And so what they're telling us now is that you can go after George Soros because what you say about him is not anti-Semitic because he's not a good Jew. Friends, there are no good Jews. There are Jews who are trying to be better. There's no ladder that we're all climbing to see who could be the most observant Jew or who could be the best Jew. How about you just be better Jews and not worry what George Soros does with his money or even Adelson does with his money? Just let them be. And like I said, I get frustrated when the non-Jews do it. But recently we've had Jews starting to get into the mix. Eric Early, a Republican in California, said of George Soros, he is a Nazi sympathizer and a danger to our nation. Those are dog whistles, friends. A danger to our nation. Dial it back to 1932. A man named Adolf Hitler in Germany at the time said exactly that kind of thing about the Jews. They are a danger to our nation. They are a pestilence. They are a pest. Eric Early is a Jew. Alan Dershowitz. Now, say what you will about Dershowitz, and I have plenty to say. He says that the attacks on George Soros are not anti-Semitic because, please, everybody, feel free to tell the truth about George Soros. Don't worry about false claims that it is anti-Semitism. He's not much of a Jew. First of all, I mean, as you know, he worked and collaborated with the Nazis in his native land when he was a young kid. That's the big thing that goes out about Soros. But you know what? It's not true. But if they feel that if you keep saying it, it has to be true. Because if it wasn't true, why would they keep saying it? But what's so insidious about this, the fact that Jews are saying this, right? And I could say a lot about Alan Dershowitz's observance of Judaism. His mother-in-law was a congregant of mine in Charleston, South Carolina. And I always asked her, when he's in town, is he going to come to shul? Oh, no, he's too busy. He has to go out to lunch with his friends. On Shabbos. Ah, yes, that bastion of good Judaism, right? And I'm not calling him because he doesn't observe Shabbat. What I'm calling him is as a hypocrite. You want to go after George Soros, say he's not much of a Jew. Next time you meet a Holocaust survivor, tell them that they're not much of a Jew and see what happens. Do it in front of me. You'll be surprised at how angry I can get and how quickly I can get angry. George Soros was not a Nazi collaborator. George Soros was not a supporter of the Nazis. George Soros himself is not a Nazi. But the Republican Party are painting him that way and painting us the same way. And this is dangerous right now. This isn't Marjorie Taylor Greene saying Jewish space lasers. These are people calling out someone and saying, he's not Jewish enough. He's not really a Jew. Who are these people to tell me or him or any of you that you're not Jews enough? Marjorie Taylor Greene? Didn't she have an affair while she was married? Lauren Boebert? Her husband exposed himself to a teenage girl. Shall I go through the rest of the Republican Party? Lindsey Graham? Stories that we could tell about him. But the point is, I'm not saying that they're not good Christians. I'm not saying that they're not good Catholics or Baptists or Lutherans or Methodists. But they seem to say it's all right to say that about George Soros, and by extension mean us. It's a way of dehumanizing us. It's a way of saying, yeah, you can't be anti-Semitic. You can't have Jewish hatred if they're not really Jews. It's one thing when the non-Jews say it. It's quite another when Jews are saying it. Because then it makes it okay. Dershowitz says he's not a Jew, so, wow. It's not true. I have enough of the anti-Judaism. I have enough of the Jewish hatred to fill me 5 lifetimes right now. And it's not getting better. Because nobody's calling these people on it. And if they are, they're doing it very quietly. I'm not. And I don't want you all to as well. Right? Jewish hatred is Jewish hatred. George Soros is not a bad man. And I would say that if he were on the other party, because he's giving money to something that he believes in. Judaism believes in, what's the word? Tzedakah, righteousness. And this is one of the things that he learned as a child. And he wants to help people who can't help themselves. And he knows what it's like to be persecuted. None of us understand what it's like to be persecuted the way George Soros or any Holocaust survivor was treated. Somebody calls you a dirty Jew? Hurtful? Yes. Somebody tattooing a number on your arm? Somebody reducing you to a number? None of us have ever experienced that. And to have people have the unmitigated gall to question someone's Judaism, someone's religious practice, someone's religious belief, simply because they are of a different political party is beyond the pale. In Judaism, it's okay to disagree. We have an entire Talmud written with rabbis going at it, hammer and tongs, yelling at each other across the centuries about who's right and who's wrong. But never once does another rabbi say to a rabbi, "You're not a Jew because you disagree with me." In Judaism, it's okay to disagree with other people. It's okay to disagree with politics with other Jews. Debates are a major part of our tradition. Opposing beliefs. Believing something, following a political party that your best friend doesn't follow, that is not any less Jewish than following your party or their party, right? It's not anything like that. It's okay to have different opinions, but it's not okay to start reducing people to outsider status because of those. We can't write Jews that we disagree with out of the Jewish community. There'd be no Jews left. Even if I were the last Jew, I would still be looking in the mirror and disagreeing with myself. It's part of who we are. But you don't write them off as not Jewish. And certainly, I did not think that I would be alive when I heard other Jews compare victims of the Nazis to Nazis themselves. Alan Dershowitz should know better. Eric Early should know better. Anybody who does it should know better. We can't ignore this. We have to be loud. We have to let them know that this is not going to fly with us. Because if we let it go, I shudder to think at the consequences. Shabbat shalom and good Shabbos.
Well said.
One of these days I'm going to wake up and it's going to be good news. All right.
Kadoosh.
Kadoosh! I almost jumped to 282 and I'm thinking, no.
I need a drink.
Scotch in my office. Problem though is if I have one, I'm not going to stop.
Never stop at 2.
Never stop at 2. I don't like even numbers. All right. Kiddush. Vayiher vayivoker yom hashishi. Vayachulu hashamayim v'haaretz. B'kol tzivam. Vayachal Elohim bayom hashvi. Melachto asher asa. Vayishbot bayom hashvi. Mikol melachto asher asa. Vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi. Vayikadesh oto, kivo shavat, mikol melachto asher bara, Elohim la'asot. Savri, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzvanu. B'Shabbat kodsho, b'ahava uvratzon, itchilanu, zigaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila, lamikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, v'otanu kidashta, Mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat. Now Aleinu, page 282. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'atei gdula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'ratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, Ushminatu zo, begolfei meromim, u Eloheinu enod, emet malkeinu efesu lato, kakatu betorato, viadata hayom vehashevota, elevavecha. Ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim imam, ya'aretz mitachat einod. Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam v'oed, v'ne'emar, v'hayam Adonai,
L'melech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo echad. This week we observed the following yard sites: Fanny Fish, related to Jack and Joe, and Pauline Kaplan. Leonard Keene, husband of Betty Ann, father of Michael and Mark. Sarah File, relative of Manny Berinsky. Julia Cantor Kaplan, wife of Theodore, mother of Pauline, Jean, and Nordy. Louise Poland, wife of Lake III, mother of Rebecca and Lake C. Poland. Albert Rowan, Inga Field's father. Edna Brown Baker, David Baker's mother. Molly Frischman, Janice Chertow's grandmother. Sarah Herbert, Harold's mother. Samuel Herman Kazan, father of Martin. Charles Lundy, husband of Judy, grandfather of Nathan Daniel Jurin. Leona Cohen, Nelson's mother. Abraham Kagan, Harold's father. Regina Levine, Regina's great-grandmother, Mo and Bernard's grandmother, Milton's mother. Eleanor Gaffin Slotkin, wife of Seymour, daughter of Lily and Louis Gaffin. Philip Supovitz, Lynn Mayer's paternal grandfather. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us all, and may they all rest in peace.
Amen.
Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 294. Yitkadal, Yikadash, Shmei Rabah, B'alma Tivrach Yeruteh, Yamlik Malchuteh, B'chayechod, B'yomechod, U'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agala B'zman Kariv Yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabah Mevarach L'Olam, U'lamei Almaya, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpahar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitalev, V'yithalal, Shmei T'kudsha, V'reichu, Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbachata V'nechmata, D'amiram B'alma V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shlomah Rabah Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom V'romav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru, Amen. All right, friends, just a couple of quick announcements before we close out with Adon Olam. Service is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and please join us. It's a rockin' time here, I'm telling you. Saturday mornings are fun, so please join us. Sunday morning at 9. Monday evening, we'll have our deep dive into Genesis. No meetings this week that I'm aware of. And then we'll be back at the end of next week. In the email went out, the Pesach Seder is on the books. We're ready and raring to go. Please call in your reservations before next Friday. After next Friday, we are not taking any reservations. We have to get the food. We have to prepare the food. And to keep costs low, we need to cap it. And so, sorry, but this is a hard deadline. Next Friday gives you a whole week. And all you have to do is either hit reply to the email and send it back to Martha or give her a call. That's it. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. But that is in a little under 2 weeks, right? The month of Nisan has begun. It's the month of Pesach. Great time to be joyful. So Pesach is approaching. The end of April is the raffle. If you're buying tickets, buy. If you're selling tickets, sell. Do a little bit of both. Buy one, sell one. Buy one, sell one. I mean, we're doing well. But we could always do better. And please support the raffle. I think that's it for right now. Other stuff's coming up in April, but the two big events right now for us are Passover and the raffle. So, but there's lots. Don't worry, we'll keep you informed. So welcome back to Nancy, who's back. I don't know for how long. 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Yeah, pretty much. But glad to have you back.
All right, let's close out on 321. Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa B'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'Acharei Kichlot HaKol Levahado Yimloch Nohora V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh V'hu Yeh B'Tifara V'hu Echad V'ein Sheni Laham Shilo Lahachbira B'li Reshit B'li Tachli V'lo Ha'oz V'ha'misra V'hu Eli V'chai Goali V'tzorchev Li B'yeit Sahara V'hu Nisi Umanos Li Menat Kosi B'yom Ekra B'yahado Avki Ruchi B'yeti Shan B'yahira V'im Ruchi Gviati Adonai Li V'lo Ira. Oh, we've got people saying hello from the intertubes this evening. Let's see who they are there. Oh, it's Mom. Shabbat Shalom to all from Rabbi's Mom and Cliff. Same to you, Mom and Cliff. Wishing all a peaceful weekend and a great weekend ahead. Thank you. ML Glazer and Herman. Thank you. They wish us all a good Shabbat. Same to you. David Johnson, Shabbat Shalom and a good and joyful week. Thank you. Joyce Yaffe, Shabbat Shalom to B'nai Shalom congregation. Donna Wilson, Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Please stay safe. Say safe, and she says drive. I think you mean dry there. Yes, I mean to say safe and dry. There we go. And I think that's it for today. Oh yeah, okay. Well, all right, friends. We've got lots going on. Please join us for as much as you can. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos. We'll see you soon. And please, please be careful out there.
I think you ought to take that show on the road.
Which show is that?